Perfect. Okay, guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. Those of you, all of you should know who I am. My name is Carla Silver. I am the founder of the Top Producer Academy, the Top Producer Mastermind, and the super cool Zero to Hero Online Mastermind Facebook group, which is a free internet marketing group for network marketers that are looking for support in marketing and marketing their businesses online. I help professional network marketers build and automate their businesses online so that they can rank up, make more money, and of course spend more time with the people that they love most in their lives. And by just being around in this industry for a while, I've had the opportunity to, well, in any industry, being an entrepreneur, I think one of the key things that you want to do is play up and find somebody. You guys have all heard me say this before. Find somebody that has done something that you want to do, right? Find the right people at the right time and then get to work. So find a mentor, find multiple mentors, find somebody that can help you take your life, your business, your spirituality, your relationships, whatever piece of your life that you're working on, or your entire, all those pieces of your life that you're working on. Find that person that is willing to assist you, whether it is just out of the goodness of their heart. By example, I follow people all over the internet that don't know that I follow them, and I am watching them closely. I'm watching what they do, and I'm learning from them. Or if it's somebody that's a paid mentor, right? The paid mentors are the people that have affected me in my life the very most, because those people are very interested in helping me and Dawn and you guys take ourselves and our businesses. They're financially invested in helping us take ourselves to our next step. And I had the opportunity to meet our guest tonight. Gosh, Diane, I think it'll be 2 years ago. I'm pretty sure I met you at our first Lisa Sasevich Sassy retreat in August of 2 years ago, but I might have met you when I joined the Sassy Mastermind. With the guys, for those of you that are just meeting me for the first time, my very first big, and I mean big, big as in make me shake in my boots, sweat, be afraid to talk to Dawn about this kind of a level up of investment in myself, was with a woman by the name of Lisa Sasevich, and I'm still part of her Sassy Mastermind. I had the great opportunity to meet Diane Halfman when I first joined, so I actually don't know if you were brand new at that time or not, but I know that I was. And Diane is pretty, she's not pretty amazing. She is, well, she's pretty, but she's also freaking amazing. She has an amazing story. She is one of my mentors and Dawn's mentors. She's extraordinarily successful as an author, a celebrity speaker. She's created the Diane Halfman Academy. She's got years and years of experience that she's going to try to share some of it with us over the next few minutes. And what I'm really interested is in, especially since I'm big on organization, you guys know that, right? If you've been through any of my many of my products, it's like, get yourself organized, get yourself your plan for your week and your day. But I actually found myself, here's a confession. I found myself earlier today overwhelmed, completely and totally overwhelmed. It's to the point where I was about ready to cry. Like, I have so much on my plate. I'm like, what the heck? And then I realized that I had gotten so busy. I can see Diane nodding her head, and she's probably having a fit because I have boxes all behind me, but I just moved, so that's one of the nature of the game. But I found myself overwhelmed, and I realized it was because I had stopped doing the things that I knew that I needed to do to keep myself organized. So there was all this stuff in my head that I needed to do, and she's got way more stuff to share with you today, but one of the wonderful principles that Diane has shared with me is just doing the simple things that we can do every single day to make sure that we are on track in every area of her life. And she is my spa life mentor. She is the example of what is possible as a well-balanced woman that has, I think I have a lot going on, man. Diane has a lot going on. So she is somebody that you want to think about partnering with yourself. So with that said, I'm going to shut up and introduce you my amazing mentor, Diane Halfman. Diane, come on out here and take it away.
Thank you, Carla. So good to be with you. You know, I love working with you. I love that you're a dear friend of mine, and I love supporting your tribe. You are not the only one. That sense of overwhelm, people feeling out of balance in their life, and we just want to dive in and get those habits and principles in place, because the bottom line is we want to be more productive and profitable in our life. So I'm really excited to be here with everyone. I love that you're here with me. And it's great that, so I'd like to start with, would you like to have more calm in your daily life? And would you like, so now we are talking, this is what we want. So what I'm going to talk about today is about something that is really, truly going to help you become much more productive. And it's going to help you with something you probably haven't thought of before that will impact your productivity. You're going to learn about how to create your home to be your sanctuary. And we're going to talk about how to have every day of your life feel like a spa life. And that your environment, your office, including your desk, can support you in a way that will really help you do that. And as Carla mentioned, I am a Spa Life mentor, a speaker, and an organizational expert. And why I want to talk with you today is, while you may have heard this information about productivity, time management, and making sure you're getting all your stuff done, what I'm really going to be talking to you about is the other side of that same coin, is what to do with your things, your physical environment, instead of space. And we're going to talk about, you know, what are you going to do with all that stuff that is around you that can actually cause you that sense of being overwhelmed. So we really want to look about how much your space is actually impacting you. So let me connect the dots for you, and about why having a spa life will help you be more productive. And the reason we're going to talk about organizing is for what it brings to your life. And first off, I want you to know that creativity craves clarity and simplicity. Hang on one second. We're going to share some slides with you as well. So let me pull that up for you. Hang on. Okay, it'll be just a minute. My tech is setting up our slides here, having a little bit of a delay. Give me a couple seconds. Do I take the video off? Okay, if you guys could just shake your head and let me know if you can see the title slide. Yes? Fabulous. Okay, perfect. All right, fabulous. So we're going to talk here about this creativity aspect here. And if you see this slide about this creativity, craving, simplicity in your life, that as an entrepreneur, in order to create something, you need to have space. And so we need to be able to create that in your life. And so I want to share with you about a client of mine named Linda, who was already an accomplished author. At the time, she was trying to start her second novel. And the problem was that she was in serious writer's block. Linda flew me to her home in the Midwest for 5 days, and we talked about, how to figure out a plan for her that I knew would work. Well, she was stuck. And we removed all the things that didn't represent who she was in terms of clutter. And why I want to share this with you is a lot of times we don't think about the clutter and our actual space, about how it can affect us in our creativity, in our business, in our life, in a very real way. So her belongings, her physical clutter, as well as tension in her body were really affecting her performance in her life and in her business. And so 2 weeks after our 5-day intensive, she finished her book. You heard me right? That was 2 weeks. So these things can happen very quickly. A lot of times, I know a lot of you will say that, I don't have time to get organized, or I feel overwhelmed. But, trust me, when you take just a little bit of time, and I'm going to show you in this about how you can take a small amount of time to get these systems and structures in place to be able to support you. And I want you to think for just a moment, what's been on your plate forever that you would like to complete? Think of something that you'd really like to complete, but it just keeps getting pushed to the side. If you were going to actually get that done, where would you go to do it? Would you do it in your office? Would you go to Starbucks? Would you go to a mountain cabin? I mean, why would you go there? I mean, is it quiet? Is it calm? Is it free of distraction? Yeah, that's why people go to places to get projects done, because the concentration and the real progress creates a distraction-free environment. So we want to create that in your everyday space, so that, yes, it's great to have to go somewhere to do that, but it's also great to create that in your own space. So you create print. We removed 100 full boxes of unfinished products. We unpacked, scaled down, and cleared over 40 years of clutter. And anything that didn't support her present and future goals. What a great success that was for her. And what a great investment in both time and money that paid off huge. Talk about some ROI. So the second thing you need for success is that you need space for success, like on your desk. Your calendar is completely full, your to-do list is completely full. You feel overwhelmed and you feel like your desk is covered with papers and you can't find stuff. Where is success going to go? I want to ask you that again. Where is success going to go? Success is looking for a people that have space to collect it. If your desk is covered with papers, then you are sending out to the world energetically as well as physically that you don't have room to be successful because you don't have space. So you actually have to create space. So just as you create time on your calendar, you have to create time in your physical space, in your environment, so you have things show up that you care about. So for example, if someone wants to give you a $50,000 check for a deal that you closed, then you better make space on your desk to do the proposal. Then put that proposal away, hopefully in a place where you can find it. So you can create the space for that check to appear. Does that make sense? Right? So if you're not creating the space on your desk, you know, you're thinking about home, you know, where you've done something where you feel like you should be doing something else. We want, when you're in the space that you're in, to really be focused on what that space is supposed to bring about for you, and to have that be able to support you. So it's my mission to have people up-level their space so it creates that feeling. That's where your productivity starts. What I'm talking about regarding spa life. All right, so imagine yourself standing at the entrance of this spa. How does that feel, right? Notice vibes. And the one thing I like about this spa is the bridging of the floor. It symbolizes walking from the outside world to an inner sanctum. It's my intention for you to have the doorways to each room in your home to be a bridge to what you want to experience in each one of your homes. I mean, how would your life be different if you felt more productive in your office and more peace in your bedroom simply by creating the environment to inspire that experience? So one of the things I love about a spa space is fresh flowers you want to have in your space that bring a smile to your face every time you see it, right? So notice how lighting shifts your experience in a room. Right? Candled lanterns can signal a shift of energy walking into your home to have an intention of clear and calm space. Having these things in your bedroom can signal peace and rest and romance. You know, how we organize a room pulls us into the experience we want to have. We have to create this. It's a proactive experience. This home is an example of how you can start to use spa principles to inspire in your own home. Notice the symmetry of the plant and the inviting feeling, right? Notice how this entrance is not only clutter-free, it's open and airy. And you may be wondering, but where would I put all my stuff? You know, there are ways to keep your things off the floor, in storage, and know exactly where something is. You know, walking into this home, your eye catches the beauty of fresh flowers. From a practical standpoint, using multiple baskets keep things properly and orderly at the front door while still enjoying a clutter-free walkway. The whole purpose here is about how you feel in your space, because how you feel is going to elicit how you actually interact with yourself and other people on a daily basis. Even one basket can capture shoes and allow a visible pleasure of, creative, and use a tray to line up shoes and, trip on them walking in the door. And you can also use a beautiful vase or a pitcher to hold umbrellas that look nice and that are functional, that captures water and dirt. Notice how this home has a similar feel to a spa. The clear floors, open space, a bit of nature, and a few inspiring and thought-provoking pieces. You know, walking into this home feels special. You know, we've heard that your home is your castle. However, how many of you have organized it in a way for you to be proud, productive, and profitable and peaceful? Getting more organized, right? So it can be very, very simple. And so part of what we want to look at here is, you're in the right place if you're thinking, I would love to get organized, and I'm wondering how to make time for all of this. You're in the right place if you're thinking, every time I start to get organized, I get sidetracked. And you're also in the right place if you're thinking, I'd love to have my home and office be a true representation of me, right? So it can very much be done with very simple things in small increments of time. So your systems, which is the S in my reset system, are your answer to so many problems that you're experiencing. And, I had to learn this the hard way. Only one day, actually, only a few years ago, well, a lifetime ago, actually, I walked in the front door of my own home. I'm sharing this with you because, a lot of it goes, well, that looks great for her. However, one of the things that we want to be able to look at is, I have been there. I've been in a place where I didn't have my spaces, represent me, and I had to look at my space. So what my experience for myself that happened was that, I walked into the front door of my own home and I instantly knew something was wrong. You know that feeling, where something's wrong, but you're not sure what it was, but it was something big. And I actually found out that my husband, we had been married for 6 years. We had 2 daughters, 4 and 5 years old. And I was devastated. I mean, you guys, when you have things that you think your systems are supporting you and you have everything lined up and you get kind of thrown that curveball. I mean, I was we didn't really talk about before, but before I was in my organizing, I was supporting people in my life. I was a police officer and I had a lot of stresses in my life and I was juggling a lot of balls. And I was devastated because I had systems that worked for me, but I was thrown that wrench. And as a brand new police officer, I was working night shifts and my life as I knew it shattered. I mean, can you guys relate to this where, you've had things going how you wanted and everything was lined up and then life happened and your systems that you had before were no longer supporting you? Well, my life looked great on the outside. However, I didn't share with anyone how much chaos I was feeling on the inside. And, I remember walking around feeling like I was drowning. Can any of you relate to that? Just that feeling where things are just not lining up and you're just feeling overwhelmed and drowning? Well, the weight of dealing with the sudden turmoil in my life quickly felt like an extreme burden. And my days were filled with being a single parent, caring for my 2 young daughters, and learning a new job as a police officer. On top of that, I was handling the emotional aspects of working on an all-male squad of officers and just, complaints that were, coming in from people and just dealing with that 911 lifestyle. In order to deal with all of this, I stopped dealing with it. I mean, I went from going from a life where I had everything mapped out and everything being thrown into a frenzy. And it was really overwhelming. So I get this feeling that you may be experiencing in your life of being overwhelmed as well. And I wasn't taking care of myself. And I just had a hard time keeping things organized. I was just trying to get through the day. And I stopped opening my mail. And I mean, things were piling up. And see, no one plans to be unorganized. These certain things just tend to happen. And, being unorganized, is something that can really affect your day in a really amazing way. So hang on here. I'm having a little thing happening here. So I just found myself exhausted by these piles that were piling up. No one sets out to, you don't just wake up suddenly and you're unorganized. What happens is that, life happens, our systems aren't supporting us, and it just, you're not utilizing them in the way that supports you. And so, my put together life became a series of sleepless nights and avoiding going home and just things that were just not working for me. And I had to take a really deep look at my stuff, internally and externally. And so what I didn't understand at the time, and what I wanted to share with you guys, is that there is a direct relationship between the amount of drama that's happening in your life and the resulting clutter that comes from it, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. And there is a drama to clutter ratio. And okay, hang on one second here. Okay. I want to show you guys this slide here about what I'm talking about, this drama to clutter ratio. And this will be a visual for you guys to be able to actually see this. But, the more drama you have in your life, what I saw in this drama to clutter ratio was that the more drama you had in your life, the more clutter you had in your life. And so, I love showing this video or this picture because, we've all had days like where things just seem crazy. And that's where I discovered this very odd phenomenon, that the drama to clutter ratio works both ways, that the less clutter I had, the less drama I experienced. So that's why I started putting things in their space, back into using my systems, something as simple as putting the dishes back into the cabinet. And what I noticed was that I felt better about myself. That's when I started to put away my mail. I had a clearer head. I was more organized, and that the more organized my physical space became, the more my mental space got sharper and the more productive I got at work. And I discovered that having an environment that reflected my new life lifted me up. It made me proud again. It made me productive and healthy. So in fact, having a productive, clear environment is the easiest and the most effective way to start creating the life that you really want and achieve the dreams that you're looking for. So needless to say, after discovering this, I got back on track and I began using my systems again. And in a little while, I'm going to share with you more about my systems, and particularly the S in my reset system. That's the answer to so many problems that you are experiencing. Is, learn how to get 3 hours of leisure time back into your day, how to create a beautiful space that enhances your productivity. In fact, I'm going to teach you how to set up your environment so it automatically makes you more productive. And I'm also going to show you the 3 places that you're leaking money and time and how to reverse that right away. You're going to see exactly where the problems are. It'll be like walking down the street and seeing a $100 bill where you just have to bend over and pick it up. And you'll also learn a no-fail way to reduce the amount of clutter that comes into your life. And we're going to do that through simple systems. I'm going to give you 3 key ways that you can create the spa life that's going to move you to the next level. Okay, sound good? So what we're going to look at here is that, so my desire for you is to have simple ways to clear space on your desk and in your calendar so you can put your fingers on what you need and get that 3 hours back in your day right away. So as you can imagine, there are a lot of things I could talk to you about today. So what I'm going to focus on is, in a limited amount of time that we have together, is on the few things that will give you that time back. I'm going to help you be much more productive, and then I'll share with you how you can take this information into your life so that it makes a lasting impact. So why this matters so much is because we are bombarded every day with things that are distracting us and vying for our attention. So for example, the average number of emails in someone's inbox is over 8,000. If you add to that an average of more than 37 different folders, studies show that when you have simple systems in place, it's much easier to find what you need. So if you bring just one piece of paper into your life a day, think about this. If you bring just one piece of paper into your day and into your home, that adds up to 360 extra pieces of paper a year. If you bring 10 pieces of paper into your day, that adds up to 3,600 pieces of paper a year. And so we wonder, where did all the paper come from? How does this actually happen? It can happen really quickly. So you can see how having simple systems to deal with paper can save so much time, space, and energy. And in the end, what is important is that it's not about having neat piles on your desk. Right? It's about having a life that excites you. It's about one where you're moving fast in the direction that you want to, and even one where you're not working all the time. In order to do that, you've got to have clarity around what you're doing and why. And we do that together by looking at your space and organizing it in a way that brings peace, order, and productivity into your life. Simple systems are your answer. So what is the big deal about our environment anyway, right? It's the first key is that environment is stronger than willpower. I want you to think about this. So many times, we think that we can just power through something and willpower is going to make it happen. So I want you really to hear this, is that environment is stronger than willpower. And I invite you to look at your environment like a dimmer switch, versus an on-off switch. So let's not look at this as black and white, organized or not organized, all or nothing extremes. Let's look at it as an opportunity to get organized in a dimmer switch fashion. We're going to turn up the light of organization to be brighter and brighter, where we can create a space that inspires you to do better and be better. We all have great intentions, right? Many times people rely on willpower to make things happen. Instead, let's focus on changing your environment and setting yourself up to win. Your environment impacts everything. If you're trying to, this is a great example for this. So if you're trying to lose weight, would you put a 1,000-calorie cupcake on your kitchen counter and stare at it all day saying, I'm not going to eat that? Or how about, not even bringing that cupcake in your house in the first place? Why invite that cupcake into your environment, right? So change begins with changing clutter in your life to create more peace, calm, and happiness. So when it comes to creating your dream environments, think about how much stuff you're holding on to that's actually blocking your vision from becoming a reality. The father of Western yoga once said, environment is stronger than willpower. So when you get rid of the cupcakes from your life, from your space, you have a much better chance of turning your vision of a calm, peaceful home into a reality. So I want you to imagine going into an office that looks like this, okay? What kind of this here is like, you look at the top of this desk, what kind of deals are you going to make from this messy desk? This is a real office from one of my clients. I mean, what do you think is happening to your mind when you walk into an office like this? I mean, do you know that it actually takes 45 minutes to get your mind back on task? So what's really happening is that it's taking a really long time to get back on task. So as soon as you look away, you're distracted again. So this is what was happening with my client, Leah. She felt pretty organized and pretty proud of running a six-figure business with her team and independent contractors, except she was overwhelmed and drained most of the time. And I worked closely with Leah, and one of the first problem areas we solved was her office. First, she had too many papers and projects on her desk, and it was distracting her from making consistent progress. Our work together had an amazing and immediate impact on her energy, and I taught her how to use my unique reset system. And so after that, her day went, from being organized, chaos it made from her. You look at this desk here, now she's getting, much done in less time. She has more energy. She has a new filing system where the boxes of stuff that she was going to sort out sometime are now gone. And with a desk that only has her current project on it, Leah can focus deeper and have more clarity and get her work completed faster. And so ultimately, her feelings of overwhelm and being drained have vanished. She feels more freedom and enjoys being productive in her space and has lots more energy. So the point is, you have to create space for success. You have to set up your environment to win. That creates the experience of spa life. And spa life is how you want to feel in your space. And it starts with your physical environment, and it spreads to all the other aspects of your life. So check out some before and after photos of what my clients have been able to do because of our work together. So this is my client, Janet. Here we're looking at an office first here that shows, what clarity can look like in an environment. And this here was Janet's desk. Look how distracting this desk is. There's so many things to look at. It's hard to see anything. If you look at the top shelf in here, there are so many things there that you cannot find. And every time she sat down to work on one project, there were 5 more vying for her attention. So this is before we worked together. And, this is how, it looks after some time working with me. She was able to focus on some more of her projects. I mean, how has it been for you where you sit at a desk like this, where you're being distracted, you don't have energy, and you're talking to people on the phone, and you're not able to be able to, focus on what you're doing. And so here you can see where she was able to now, once this got cleared, she was able to focus more on what it is that she was doing. So if you look at this side by side, you can see here how the distracted brain on the cluttered desk could be versus being more focused on a more calm desk. So looking at some more before and afters, let's spend a little bit of time with this. So I hear people say that clutter piles don't impact them that much, right? So however, when something's out of place, it throws you out of alignment. And subconsciously, your brain is looking at all the things that are out of alignment. So when this is corrected, you can put all your energy into just the next step forward rather than being scattered. So if your space is not working, if you're not organized in your thoughts, if your relationship's not working, it's time to clear things up. When you clear things that no longer serve you in the physical space, you can see other things open up as well. So I'm going to give you like 30 seconds to write down, some places that you've probably been wasting time and money or resources because you can't find get your fingers on what you need when you need it, and that create that mental clutter. So, if you have a pen or paper, it's great to take 30 seconds to write this down, or, mentally to write this down, so you can start looking to see what are some of the things you're tolerating in your space that may not be serving you. And you may not be thinking about this in ways that it can be affecting all the different areas here. So, it could be something as simple as a loose board that you keep tripping on, an outlet that's not working, a window blind that doesn't go up. The things in your space, they affect us. And, this can lead to, your inbox of things you're not following up on. In other words, if you've been tolerating or putting up with things in your office, you need to ask yourself, what are things that you've been tolerating that might be slowing you down? It's not having all the documents you need in one place. It's being able to get your hands on that one document that you need at the time that you need it. I mean, how many piles of paper are on your desk? Does your computer boot up right away? You want to start making a list of things that you're tolerating that can be causing drag on your energy. I mean, you want to think about this of, it's almost like the RAM in your computer. It's like your computer runs slow when you can't get to things. Well, you yourself are running slow in your space when you can't get a hold of things, and it's vying for your attention. It's draining your energy and sucking money out of your business. These are the tolerations that affect us. So tolerations, if you have a toleration that derails you and takes, just 5 minutes out of your day. I mean, how many times where you're not being able to find something, if you're doing just that 5 minutes, that can cost you 30 hours a year. Those 5 minutes at the time may seem like no big deal, but when that adds up over time, that is, 30 hours, of wasted time a year, right? So remember, tolerations can cause drag and take us longer to do things. If it takes you an additional 5 minutes to find something in those distractions, then it's costing you that extra 30 hours a year in unproductivity, in time you could be doing something else that you love with just 5 minutes. So my client Jennifer realized that there were so many tolerations in her home, she actually decided to move because she got the correlation that her space was causing drag in her ability to move faster in her business. So is your environment in alignment with the speed that you want to go? Is the wealthy people who get organized when they have space, or is it the space being organized that makes them wealthy? Right? We want to look at the space. This shows you how you can take a closer look at what you've been tolerating in your space. Very simple kind of correlations can save you tons of time and money. So the first way you're leaking time and money is those tolerations. So next, the second way you're leaking time and money is email excess. People are always complaining to me about the email that's happening in their space. So let me ask you, do you have more than 100 emails in your inbox? Or do you even know how many emails you have in your inbox? Have you surrendered to email overload? It's just gotten so out of control that you have no idea how many are in there. So let's talk about handling your email properly and easily so they can actually make you money. When clients work with me more closely, I teach them all the aspects of how to deal with their computer and email. For right now, let me give you one major way to save tons of time and money. Unsubscribe without hesitation. If you're not reading emails and you know which ones you're not opening, unsubscribe. Sometimes you may have, what we call FOMO, FOMO, fear of missing out. And trust me, you're not missing out because you have that fear. Lowering the number of emails, you will lower your stress. So remove all the emails that are not relevant to your life. So first unsubscribe and then do a search to bring up that sender in a group and then delete all of them. You actually will be really surprised. That can get rid of thousands of emails with just that alone. So, for example, say that you received emails from a shopping website that you used just once several months ago and you're not going to use again. Be sure to unsubscribe and then do a search for that name and do a mass delete. This will clear hundreds at least out of your email. My client, for example, on this is my client Rhonda's inbox was so backlogged that she was missing people in her email that actually wanted to do work with her. So when she finally organized and systemized her email, she discovered she had lost over 200,000 in business of people that she didn't follow up with that were actually asking to do business with her. So you can see how much money can be lost in just email alone. So I want you to be able to use some of these simple systems to be able to get a handle on that. So, as much as electronic clutter can be bogging you down, there's nothing that distracts the mind more than the physical papers around you. So the first way that you're leaking time and money is tolerations. The second way leaking is excess email. And the third way is you're probably leaking time and money is because of paper pileup. So what I'm going to share with you here comes straight out of my book, The Paper Clutter Solution Book, is when you let paper piles grow, you may be missing dividend checks or other money that's just waiting for you in your mail. I mean, opportunity to cash in is sitting in your mail. Bills that are inaccurate or misfiled can lead to things being overpaid or late or not calculated into your taxes. All of that's wasted money that you could be putting into your pocket. So wouldn't it be amazing if you didn't have papers on your desk that as soon as you touched a piece of paper, you knew exactly where to put it? I mean, are you pretty organized? I mean, do you have files in a file drawer with papers in them, but there's that last bit of papers that you're just not even sure what to do with? So they end up piling on your desk or in your kitchen until suddenly you're searching for something and you say like, well, I know it's around here somewhere. Well, that's the exact thing that happened to my client, Kay. I mean, her daughter had been accepted for a $50,000 scholarship as long as she completed a few requirements. And that included filling out a form and turning in some receipts. Kay and her daughter searched high and low for the supporting documentation to the school of what they needed, and they weren't able to find them before the deadline. And so she was denied the scholarship. I mean, I can imagine how frustrating that would be. I mean, frustrated, Kay called me and, we systemized her paperwork by removing anything that she didn't need. And I taught her how to touch paper once and knowing what to do with each item as it came into her office or home. And I taught her how to use something that I call the action box for her with her files for everything important that used to be on her desk so that they would always be there when she needed them, but in a systematic way. Amazing, right? So, we really want to be able to look at, so the third key is knowing how to better evaluate so that you might be thinking, well, sure, Diane, I want to get organized, but how do I even start, So one thing I teach people is how to evaluate what to keep and what to toss. So you can do this by asking yourself a series of questions. So what I'm about to teach you comes straight out of my Paper Clutter Solution book, and you can get that right on, my website, dianehalfman.com. But when you pick up a piece of paper, you can ask yourself, what is this mail, note, or business card for, right? You want to be able to touch a piece of paper just once and determine what to do with it. For example, don't ask for someone's business card if you don't plan on doing something with it. Make a decision right then and there. It will save you time and keep it off your to-do list to do things. That decision is either to not connect with that person and don't take their card, or if you want to connect with that person, put that connection call on your calendar right then. It saves time going back and forth trying to set up, a call with someone. And when you take like notes during a call or a meeting and decide what to do with them right away, like notes that you've been taking perhaps during this talk, right? So you want to ask yourself, what actions need to happen with these notes? So you then calendar those things right away because your calendar is your mind in action. So as a matter of fact, as a tool, I'll share with you at the end, I'll show you exactly what to do with all your papers. But won't that make it so much simpler? I mean, in order to solve your problem once and for all you need to know is how to evaluate them. I mean, the more stuff that, the more stuff you have, client, Maddie was at a crossroads asking herself many of these same questions. And she was divorced after 35 years of marriage and 40 years as a nurse. She found herself downsized from a large and lavish home into a one-bedroom apartment. Needless to say, she had a lot of stuff. So when she called me into her space, she had everything she owned on the living floor in the apartment in a huge pile of clutter. And she felt devastated and drained with the stuff on the floor. And, she thought of it as a reflection of all that was not working in her life. I mean, she couldn't sleep, she couldn't function. The clutter was a visual reflection of what was emotionally not working in her life. I mean, she was depressed and drained and spontaneously crying. I mean, hopefully you're not at that point, but it's because of what's happening and not really looked at how it could potentially be a reflection of our life. I mean, remember when we were talking about the drama to clutter ratio? Well, Maddie was experiencing just that. I mean, she was looking at the things in her living room and believing that that clutter was a representation of who she was as a person. So instead, we looked at who she really was inside, who she wanted to be, and how she wanted to show up in the world today. So we set to work and we cleared her space. And when we cleared her space, she cleared up. I mean, there was that that correlation. she began to shine with new possibilities. So in what ways do you know that things are not working in your life? I mean, you know it's time to start asking yourself those hard questions. Where are you hiding and where are you playing small? You know it's time to do something different. You need to, to have the consistency and a thought process to succeed. You have to create the environment to win. And that's what we're talking about, is creating that environment. So that's why you haven't potentially succeeded at a higher level, and not having the environment that could literally be fighting you every step of the way. So if it's not pulling you forward, it's dragging you down. So let's look at how your environment may be fighting against you. And I'm going to have you do a simple exercise about this. So remember how I was sharing with you how I wanted you to have your home have the same feeling as being in a spa, where there's a sense of serenity, peace, order, and clarity of mind. So let's journey together in this spa life experience. I want to shift out of all the talk about the clutter and the weighing down, the anchoring, and how we can take the feeling of that heaviness and shift that into what I'm talking about in the spa life experience, where a different environment actually elicits a different response. So let's journey together in a spa life experience. And I'd like you just to take a moment, we'll do this really quickly, where you close your eyes, all right? And I'd like you just to imagine walking in the door of a spa. And just know what your favorite smells that are in the sight for you and what that feeling is like. And now we're going to journey to your home. And I want you to imagine a room in your home that if you changed it, it could positively impact your finances or in your life in some meaningful way. And I want you to take in everything in a room that you chose in your home. And see what that brings up for you, what kind of feeling that you have with that experience. And then I'd like you to just slowly open up your eyes. And I want you to keep in mind that there are always things that both work and don't work in a room. So with the room that you just envisioned in your home, please jot down what was working in that room. And then I'd also like you to jot down what is not working in that room. And then I'd like you to ask yourself, and you can write just one or two words down or think about it to yourself if you don't have a place to write, is what would make it ideal? And what would it take to get it to match your ideal vision? When you look at that, does it seem impossible? Well, I am here to tell you that it is possible. And this is the key to creating a spa life. I mean, why wait until someday to have the space that you want? I mean, you work too hard to wait. I mean, most people never get started because they think it's too hard, or they get halfway through and they give up, leaving dumping grounds or seed piles that regrow over and over again. I mean, this is the part where people get tripped up. They don't know how to evaluate effectively their papers, their space, their life. They don't see the possibility, and they don't see what you are now beginning to see. So what I just showed you was the importance of being organized and the skill you need to properly evaluate the papers in your office. Now, knowing how to evaluate is absolutely essential skill that you need to have if you're ever going to be able to have a hope of creating an environment that really supports you. I mean, really supports you. So now I'd like to share what else you'll need to take today's immediately useful information and actually have it make a lasting difference, so that you can truly make what I call, owning your own spa life and creating that. And that's what I want for you, is to have where all your environments feel as peaceful as walking into a spa. I mean, would you like to hear like what that would be, how that could support you? I'm seeing some nods here. This is good. You know, I'm going to walk you through what else that you need. Evaluation is actually just one part of a system I use when clients work more closely with me. Evaluation, which we just went over, you know, in the second part of the system, which I call the reset system, I'm going to walk you through that, right? So first of all, notice that even though you know how to evaluate, there are a few problems that remain, such as how do you make time to do it? You know, how come, you know, when you start, you never finish, or just thinking about the space itself can be so overwhelming for you. You know, how do you make sure that you can limit the amount of paper and stuff that come into your home? And how can you be more efficient if you don't sift through the same papers over and over again? You know, if you don't know how to get through these things and have the support to do it, chances are you'll get stopped before you even get started. All right. So, you know, one of the things that we want to look at here are the steps to the reset system so you can effectively be able to go through this. So the first step is to remove. You want to remove items so that you can reduce clutter in your space so that you only have what you love or that is useful for you in that space. That way you can get the things that you need quickly and feel amazing in your space. Right? So I showed you how your brain feels in a messy and a clean office. So just know that my reset system is transferable to all spaces that you have. So not just your office. So we don't live in a bubble. I mean, every room we walk into either supports us or it doesn't. So we want to look at a few more examples of how this works. So if you want to experience, you know, serenity and sleep, you want to make your bedroom look like this. I'm going to pop over to here so you can get some visuals, so you can really get some impact around this. Okay, so notice how we're incorporating the same feeling that we had in the spa in our bedroom, right? You can feel the serenity in this space. There's nothing on the floor and it's inviting to rest. You know, this bedroom feels nice and rustic, okay? It's a cozy atmosphere that you want in a bedroom, you know? There also can be frilly. I mean, you can imagine having sweet dreams in this place. There's no distractions from papers or any clutter marring this sanctuary. All right. So notice in this place here that, you know, you can see the floor, yet you could never completely rest in this bedroom. It's what I bedroom on your bed with you, and, you know, you've got these things that are around you. You know, however, you know, if we have all these things in our space, even when we're not working, our mind is still working. So this space should have the intention of relaxation, and that is only achieved without clutter, right? So if you try to sleep, have a restful night in here, I mean, many of you have gone to bed with work on your mind in a space where you have a computer that's inches away from your head. I mean, how could you ever, you know, deeply rest in sanctuary? I want you to go to bed and wake up in each morning. This next slide here that we'll be looking at, this is more of the spa life, right? This, just as your bedroom is a place for your body to rest, your closet is also a, you know, reflection of how your body shows up in the world, the clothes and things that you have. And often this is the first place that you go in the morning and you want to start it off right? So, you know, this next slide is a closet I worked with a client, and you actually may not notice that in here that there is a blue wall. These are showing some of the cluttered closets, but this next one I want to go to, let me get one more here. I'm going to move through this kind of quickly. Okay, in this one here, you can almost barely see in this cluttered closet, and it's a small closet. I mean, I've showed some of these bigger, you know, closets, but some people have these smaller ones. That's why I wanted to use this example here, where you can barely notice that there is a blue wall in the back here. And even in this next picture here, enjoy the closet, say that, you know, small place can still be clutter-free while having all the things that you need. It's simply utilizing your space in a way that as your eye feel more calm and less anxious. You can see how you could feel more overwhelmed and anxious looking at one closet. So I've given you many examples of the first step in my system, which is to remove, so you can start enjoying more simplicity in your life. So the second step in my reset system, which we already covered, is to evaluate. And this is so that you can recall why you have something and ask yourself what you need to do with this item, like what's it for, and get rid of anything that you no longer need, especially things like tax paperwork, right? So the third step in my system, which includes redesigning your space to put things in spaces that you use and have easy access. So that S is to systemize. You want to be able to have things in the areas that you're using them, so you're not wasting time retracking your steps just to get things done. Your systems should be used as a reflection of how you use something in the way that you use them, so that you're maximizing your time. So for instance, if you've got office supplies in like 4 different areas in your home, you're having to, recall and search and move to many different areas where you don't have everything that you need to get that project done in the space that you're needing it, right? So the fourth step in my reset system is that second E, which to experience the ease of your system. And this is to reinforce your new system is working for you, making any tweaks that are needed, and make sure that your experience works best for you. Because there may be little tweaks that work better for you. I mean, not everyone works in the same way. So you want to make sure that you're experiencing the flow with that and making any tweaks. And then the final step in that 5-step reset system is the T, which is track, and to track and maintain your system. And that's to ensure that you restore things to where they belong and incorporate that into your life by making them habits. So let's talk about what it takes to track and maintain your stuff, because I think that has been something that really tried to get organized before and go through the stacks of mail, and lo and behold, before you know it, there's piles of papers again. I mean, not you, of course, but I'm sure you've heard about it, where you've cleared things away and it just creeps back in, and just means that that's a system that's not supporting you. So let's walk through what it would actually be like to maintain that space. So let's look at what happens for most of us. All right. So you walk over to the mailbox, you grab your mail, you're in such a hurry, you put it on the kitchen counter, you maybe then grab dinner, run off to your next thing. And the next day, the same thing happens. So over and over again, you end up with this huge pile of mail on the counter because it's stacked up over days, potentially months. Well, let me tell you about this little story about my client, Holly. She's a firm, but she also has her own home business in her home as well. And she found herself trapped in that same cycle of unopened mail, and had gotten so bad that she actually was an extreme case where she had decades of unopened mail. I mean, she went to the point of not actually wanting people to come over to her home because she was embarrassed by the piles. Now, I know no one here has that level of that in their home. However, I want to show you that even in the worst cases, people can actually kick this and make it really easy, your way of making it fun. And that's exactly what I specialize in, and why you should book a call with me, and so that I can help you find your way, so that you can have more of that flow, and that your environment is not pulling you down, that your environment is not pulling you off track. And so I've got something for those of you that would like to, take this to the next level and turn today's really useful information into a lasting transformation. So what I've got for you is, for, everyone who really wants to change their environment and really make a difference for you, is I'm going to walk, this through you of what will help you. So remember when I said, talking earlier about, wouldn't it be amazing if you were able to get your hands on what you needed in your fingertips? Well, you'll have an opportunity to discuss that with me about being able to get your fingers on what that is and what that system is for you. And, it's not for everyone. Everyone's not ready to make these big changes in their life that can shift. But if you're feeling stuck in your business, or you feel like you're not being productive, or you're not moving forward, and you know that your environment is not supporting you, then I invite you to really take a wholesale look at what is happening around you, and be able to see that there are very simple ways to be able to do this. So my free gift to you is to have a free one-on-one conversation with me. And this is for a free clutter to Calm strategy session. And these sessions are typically a $4.95 value, but I'm going to do them for you at no charge, absolutely free, as part of Carla's people. And I know that if you're here with her, then you're committed to being productive and to really set up your environment and space to really support you. And so this is what you're going to get from your strategy sessions. What we'll be able to do over the phone is we're going to take a look at what is your next best move to get organized, be more productive in your life immediately. And then we'll look and see, if and how I can help you get there. So, I have several speaking engagements that are coming up, but I really want to serve you as part of Carla's community. So I've made space on my calendar for 8 of these Clutter to Calm strategy sessions within the next 2 weeks. And again, I'm giving them away as a complimentary gift, totally free just for you. And there is just one catch that I'm doing on this, and that you need to be willing to take the time to do an assessment. And you must do the assessment in order to be considered. In short, it's just 4 minutes, okay? It just takes 4 minutes. It's a small time investment, but it is an investment. And the great thing is that you'll get the results from your assessment right away. And so to take the assessment, you simply go to theclutterawarenessquiz.com. Let me give this to you again. It's theclutterawarenessquiz.com. And we'll show that screen up for you again if you didn't get it. But it's theclutterawarenessquiz.com. And now I'll explain, why you need to do the assessment and why it's really important is that there's 2 main reasons. The first is somewhat selfish because, my time is very limited, and to be very upfront with you, I really want you to up level. And if you really are ready to take this significant change and you're really ready to make the investment and effort to do the things you've been wanting to do that you've been putting off for years, then you'll take the assessment, because that gives you an instant snapshot of what things are working and not working in your space. Because a lot of times we have this idea of what we think is working, but when we really look at black and white very quickly, the things that are supporting us, it really allows you to have that awareness. And awareness is always the first step that we are able to look like. So the assessment's going to help us zero in on your specific situation, to identify your next best move, to not only reduce clutter, but to create the excellence that you want in all the areas of your life. I mean, that assessment is at theclutterawarenessquiz.com, and it's the single most important thing for you to do to set up your environment now, because your environment is going to pull you towards your goals. So if you really want each of these goals, if you really want to reach these goals and speak to me about the fastest way you can get there, go ahead and reserve your spot. And again, I only have room for 8. So if you'd like to speak with me, please make sure you go to theclutterawarenessquiz.com right away. You'll be able to book your session as soon as you complete that very short assessment. So that will help you really get that awareness. So it's my goal for you to have every one of you take that clutter awareness quiz. I mean, even if I end up not having room to take you in a call, that awareness alone will allow you to be able to look at what's working and not working right away. And I promise that we will get you some other tools to be able to support you along that as well, because having the information and knowing what to do with it and to be able to make those quick changes is really what makes the big difference in that. So with that, I just want you to remember that it's not about just creating neat stacks of paper, right? It's about creating a space and life that you love. Being more organized allows you to create those things. And so I always like to share my favorite quote is, we don't want to look at the totality of it and feel overwhelmed and look at it as one more thing that we need to do. This quote is just, it's take the first step. No more, no less, and the next step will be revealed. It's knowing that next step, being able to do that. And so your first step was being here today. So congratulate yourself for being able to look at your space and being able to have that awareness. And that, your next step is, that's already been revealed to you as well, is to go to the clutterawarenessquiz.com and to take that short 4-minute assessment. So that is your path to identify your best next move to creating the life that you love. And I just wanted to let you know that it's been my absolute pleasure to spend this time with you. And I want you just to remind you to go to that clutterawarenessquiz.com, take the short assessment, and then you'll be able to have to sign up for one of the free calls with me. And remember, in creating this in your life, that you're creating your spa life. How you want to feel in your space will make all the difference in your productivity and the things that will really move you forward in your life. So create your spa life. Carla, thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us, Diane. Amazing nuggets, golden nuggets that you've dropped tonight. And I'm going to be implementing them in my life and my business, my spa life and my business immediately. You are a true leader and a true expert in your field. And thank you for spending your time with us this evening.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Bye for now.
ClutterAwarenessQuiz.com. I put it in the comments. We'll see you there. Bye, everyone.